What's going on, guys? In this video, I want to talk about pad work. Now let's start with this. Pad work, if you ask me, and if you just look at Muay Thai, pad work is such a huge part of Muay Thai training. If you currently train Muay Thai, if you have trained Muay Thai, if you're considering getting to Muay Thai, you have to understand that. And people who train know that. Now, if you train Muay Thai and you don't do a lot of pad work, I'd question the type of Muay Thai training you're getting. And that's just how I feel about it. One of the best parts of Muay Thai training for me is the pad work. One of the most fun and intense and greatest tools for your Muay Thai training is good Thai pad work. So the purpose behind this video is to address something that I've been coming across recently, not just as I travel around and train at different places, but also people sending me messages, comments in my videos. Kind of just looked into it, just typed a couple of searches and saw that people all around were complaining about the lack of skill when it comes to pad holding. So currently, I do believe there is a lack of emphasis on skilled pad holding. Look, Thai pad work is more than being good at striking pads. That can't be where all your energy is focused. And this goes for coaches and students. Coaches need to emphasize the importance of the pad holding. So why do I feel the need to make a video stressing this exact point? Let's just start with, of course, number one being it's just a staple of Muay Thai training, right? Number two is people don't understand the benefits. They think it's just being like the holder, that it doesn't have any benefits. I always tell my students, you are gaining skills on both sides. If you pay attention, you will understand that. This fact was brought to my attention when I was doing MMA. And I came from a traditional martial arts background with Taekwondo and some other martial arts that was more kicking, and I didn't have great hands. And so I was doing MMA, I would just get tuned up by boxers. And then sparring, of course, when you first start sparring, you're just not that guy. You don't have those skills yet. So one of my coaches, he was one of my MMA coaches, he told me to start holding mitts. He said, hey man, you want to get good at defending yourself? I was like, yeah, I'm getting caught up in these combos. And he said, go hold mitts. He said, any of your teammates will be happy to hit some mitts from time to time. You have time between class, whatever, just hold mitts. And he didn't really explain why that was a benefit. He just told me to do that. So I did it. And then I understood, especially boxing mitts. Did a lot of boxing. And I was working with a boxing coach, and I started to understand that the timing that I had to have. It's why the boxing mitts are called focus mitts, right? You're focused up. He has to hit it a certain way. I have to time the strike because I have to connect a certain way. As I'm looking at him, the flinching you get when you first start from strikes coming at you, that starts to dissipate because you're getting used to the impact, right? So you're catching strikes. You're getting accustomed to the impact, so you're not flinching as much. You're learning to stand firm. Lastly, you're having to put together combinations for that person that's hitting. So you have to think at the same time. So you have to think of combinations. Then you have to start making them defend. So you have to think of counters that you would throw. Because again, you are the trainer. So when my students are holding pads, I refer to one side as the trainer and I refer to the other person as the striker. So I say, trainers, you need to be the best trainer possible, right? And I say, strikers, listen to your trainer. And of course, the trainer's in charge. If the striker's out of control and they're not hitting the pads properly and they're putting this trainer in danger, it's on the trainer to say, slow down, hit the center of my pad, and so on and so forth. I am this blunt with my students. I tell them straight up. And this is how I truly feel about it. You are not a good striker if you can't hold pads, period. Because of the benefits that you gain from holding pads. And I have to stress that. You are learning something on both sides. When you are holding pads, I'm telling you, you gain timing, you gain footwork, you learn to see combinations, to put them together. Lastly, the big benefit is you start to see how people move while they're striking. In either stance, however they move, you start to see what the body looks like as it's turning. You start to see their face. As you have to worry about less and less, the more and more you hold, you really start to get dialed into what striking looks like when it's right in front of you and someone is throwing strikes at you. And you learn how to receive them. Then when you're drilling and you're sparring, you understand how to parry, just how fast those punches will come. When they're hitting here, how to catch, how to block. All that's being gained holding pads. And I don't think enough people understand that. When I did my previous video, the comments I got were, some were silly, and I have to say some were just outright ignorant. One person had really truly said, that I don't pay a membership, I don't pay to be a pad holder. So his expectation is that there's just an infinite amount of pad holders that are just walking around, and he should never have to learn how to hold pads. He should just be able to hit them. That is so myopic and short-sighted, and it's selfish to the team, period. And I guess it has become more of a Western thing, but truly I have had the honor of training with some tremendous fighters, some big names, and some amazing coaches. And we all are great at holding pads. I have not met any high-level striker that is not tremendous on the other side, that is not a great pad holder. They understand the importance of that skill set. Now, why is it that I fear that the pad holding is not being stressed? I had a student who moved to another state, and for 6 months he was trying to find a gym. One issue was that he just couldn't find a gym that did Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. It was either one or the other, or the only option was MMA gyms. And he was telling me that MMA gyms just did not have Muay Thai. It was like striking or kickboxing, or they called it Muay Thai and it was more kickboxing. And that's something you're going to see a lot. They're going to call it Muay Thai, but it's kickboxing. Now, his issue was when he finally found a place that had Muay Thai, when he was doing it, he realized when he was going through the class that nobody knew how to hold pads. But they realized that he knew how to hold pads. So everyone wanted him to hold pads for them. And they would ask him to stay after class and hold for them because they loved that he could hold pads really well. And they wanted to strike pads with someone who really knew how to hold pads. So he asked me what to do about that. I said, you need to speak to your instructor. I'm of that mindset. If you have any issues, questions or concerns, or even compliments, you need to be talking to your coach. You need to let him know these things. So I told him to speak to his instructor. And his instructor was just so focused on the offensive side, the striking side, he never took the time to really teach these people how to hold on the other side. And I don't know if that's because he wasn't great at it or he didn't see the importance of it. And I think that's a problem. I think a lot of coaches, they're so focused on let's show the combo of the day. We call that the combo of the day gyms. We have these gyms that here's the combo of the day, and then we just go to work. And you're kind of left to your own devices as far as like how to hold. Maybe the guy in front of you gives you a few tips if he knows anything, and then you're kind of on your own. And that was another story I got from another student who was looking for another school once he moved, and that was kind of the thing. Again, the emphasis is consistently put on the striking side, okay? And not on the holding side. And there's a big miss there if that is what certain coaches are doing. And that, I truly believe that. That is my humble opinion. I had the honor of having Ariel McGuire here. She's a Muay Thai champion. She was in Colorado for a while, so we had her, she was training with us, and then she did a couple videos with us, and she did this awesome pad work video. And there was a comment on that video where this gentleman was super excited that we had put up a pad work video. This was very helpful for him because he was very scared at first, of course, as anyone would be. Those strikes are coming hard and fast. And that's another thing. If the relationship between both sides is not adequately explained by your coach, whereas if you're advanced and this person is new, you should be controlling your weapons and taking care of that person so they can get dialed in and truly start to understand how to do it properly. As they get more comfortable and firm with how they do it, then you can speed things up and throw a little harder. But again, that tone, that culture is set by the coaches in the school that you train in. But I saw that comment and I was like, I never thought to do pad work videos because I guess I was ignorant enough to think that if you're doing Muay Thai, you're being taught pad work on both sides. And I'm not saying that all schools are not doing that. I don't know that for sure. But because of the examples I've been exposed to so far, I just decided to just talk about it and to kind of offer something. So I'm putting together a pad work curriculum, right? Because I think sometimes I'm taking a lot of wild guesses here as far as to why it isn't being stressed on both sides. We spend weeks, we go through these recurring curriculums and we'll like really go through pad work for weeks so that people can really become comfortable, especially when I have an influx of new students, because I like everyone to be at a certain level of pad holding so that when the strikers are moving around the room, every person we go to, at least a majority of them, will be proficient and effective at holding proper pads so we can have a good time training. I don't have a bad time when someone's not great yet because it's an opportunity for me to help them, but it's just not as fast as when you have a really good pad holder in front of you. So the goal is to level everyone up, right? Strong tide and all that stuff. We elevate everyone. And then as the room moves, it's organic and you just hear the pads popping, pop, 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 because everyone knows how to do it. So if you're not being given enough instruction on the pad side, I decided to create something, because that's some of the people reached out to me. That's what they're saying, is like they love Muay Thai, but they're still not quite comfortable on the pads, and they're looking for like instruction on that. Whereas again, most people, the instruction is on the attacking side and not on the holding side. So stay tuned for that, but I'm putting that together because I didn't know it was something that was necessary. All that aside, that's why I feel pad work is so crucial. It is an art in itself, and it is beautiful. And it is one of, again, my favorite aspects of Muay Thai training. And what I love, and one of the things I love, is being a tremendous pad holder, being really good on the pads to where I can hold for any level of striker. So if you feel like that's a hole in your training, that's a weakness that you can strengthen, then you should look at doing that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.